welcome back to Coffee and Chaos. I'm Alina, your host, and our lovely producer, Solomon.
I'm here. Let me
What's
just
going on?
turn your name off here. There we go.
Don't ever turn my name off, first of all.
Hi, you're on the small side today.
I am. Happy late Father's Day.
Yeah, it was a great day.
I did text you yesterday, though, so
You did.
Let's make
You
sure
did.
that's known.
You
yes.
did. I don't take points though if people text late.
I didn't text late. I texted
No,
you
I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
If you texted them today, I wouldn't take points away.
No, okay. All right. So we're on this side because we have Erick. How are you, Erick?
Doing great.
Nice to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Your
Appreciate
busy
the opportunity.
schedule.
Yeah.
So you live in the beautiful city of
Wilmington, California.
The reason it's important for me to have you here is Solomon likes to say I'm just a Pedro girl.
Okay.
And I only love Pedro people and I only talk to Pedro people. Not true.
Well, we can change that real quick. So
we can, but I think Wilmington is the same way. Wilmington people are this is Weemos. Like, tell me, I'm not lying. You agree. You guys are just as protective of your town as we are of ours. Like, there's that. This is us. This is you. But I do have a lot of family from Wilmington. My two brothers, actually, they're stepbrothers. I don't say that. My two brothers were born and raised for the most part in Wilmington. So that's why when I met you.
And you met me in Pedro.
I did. I met you at the celebration of
Mexican Hollywood.
There you go. That thing. It slipped my mind for a second. I couldn't remember the name. I was like, ah. So that was even better because being from Wilmington, but coming and celebrating our day was awesome.
Heritage. Absolutely. It was a great event.
Because I don't think that has anything to do with Pedro Wilmington. It had to do with our culture in a sense, right? Our whole thing.
Displaced families.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you are currently a reserved Marine.
Yep, I'm in the reserves.
And you were how old when you went in?
I was actually 19 when I went in.
So when you were 19 and now you're a reserve, but what else are you right now? What else do you got going on in your life?
Oof.
Well, let's start with your Honorary Mayor of Wilmington.
So Honorary Mayor of Wilmington, that's something that I became really invested in. Living in Wilmington my whole life. I was born in Mexico. I was born in Aguascalientes, Mexico. And I came out here at the age of 7 and started working since then. So kind of...
when did you get your green card?
Oh, I think it was 19 and a half years old. Right, I got it through the military. So the military and the Marine Corps afforded me the opportunity.
To get your citizenship?
To get my citizenship.
So you're a full citizen now?
Yes.
Well, that's
Is
awesome.
that common for the military to do that? I never heard of that before. That they
do. Okay. There's certain programs that come out every now and then. During that time, there was a naturalization. And
did you have your green card at all when you went into the military?
Yep.
Okay, so you had already gotten your green card though.
I came out here with my mom, and my mom has been huge support for me and one of my greatest leaders that I look up to.
Don't you love strong Mexican women? I'm just saying. Just saying. That's all. We'll keep going. Look at Solomon rolling his eyes back there.
Here we go.
You can't stop us. You could try, but you can't. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
How old was your mom then when she came here?
I don't know. She tells me that she turns 25 every year. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I tell my son I turn 26 every year.
At a certain point, I'm like, wait, how old are you?
I need to meet her. I need to meet this woman.
She's awesome. She's very down to earth.
And do you have siblings?
I do. I have a little sister, little brother, and another little sister. Okay. But she's bigger.
Okay. So you have your siblings, you got your green card, you turn 19, you go into the military, and you get your citizenship.
Yep.
That is awesome. So you came from another country, but came here and they gave you the American dream per se. And how long were you in the Marines for?
I've been in I think I'm going on 11 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Do the reserve years count the same as the enlisted years? Or?
They're a little bit different. We work off a point percentage in terms of retirement, but we also we do have retirement benefits. We just get them a little bit later than most.
So can they, with the word being reserved, and excuse me that I'm naive to a lot of this, I don't know. you were saying before this that you can volunteer for certain things, but can
Yep.
they call you at any minute too for anything? Or is it all volunteer?
They can. And then just a quick disclaimer: anything I say doesn't reflect the views of the military or DoD in any way.
Yes.
But yeah, they can actually call you if something comes up. That's what we're there for. That's why we join. We join to serve our country.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Appreciate you. We join to serve our country. We join to do the job that not many people want to do. So if we're called, we're called.
Have you ever seen some scary stuff?
I
You don't have to tell me anything. I'm just like a yes or no kind of question. Like
I think you would have to define scary. I think we all have different levels of scary.
that's a good answer. I'm scared of my own shadow, so so that would probably for you would say then yes, I would have saw some scary
Probably,
stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
Where have you traveled?
All over the United States. I've gone as far as New York.
Have
I've
you
stayed-
left the United States?
No, not for the military.
Okay.
I've been afforded the opportunity as a reserve to stay here
Local.
locally.
That's good. That's good. So you did that, and now you're home. You're honorary mayor. So I asked you before we started just to kind of get a roundabout about how you go about being honorary mayor. I thought it was almost like somebody like votes or something, but you said no. It's
Yeah,
whoever you compete with other people, correct?
it's not political at all. It's actually it's a program put on by our Chamber of Commerce. It's to uplift local nonprofits. So profits that may be underserved or nonprofits that have potential.
Okay.
We put ourselves forward in order to raise money for those nonprofits, and we use our own influence and friends and the community in order to uplift that nonprofit.
And it could be any nonprofit of your choosing.
Mm-hmm. As long
So
as
whatever's-
it's registered, I think 501c3.
Okay. And what nonprofit did you choose?
So I chose the Wilmington Rotary Club.
And what is that?
The Wilmington Rotary Club is a local organization in Wilmington. They're really involved. I wanted to choose something that was just completely involved. So, I beat myself up here.
I know the mic just attacked him.
Right?
It just came flying at him.
I wanted to work with somebody who works with everybody. So I found the Wilmington Rotary Club and I started getting involved with them. And I found that it's a great group of people. They host like the Wilmington Fleet Week reception for the military veterans. They host what it's called. It's not National Night Out, but it's for our police officers, service members, local service members. They get acknowledged. I think last year we did it at the Waterfront Park, so it was really cool.
Oh, nice.
And then
Is that the Waterfront Park that you like?
Yeah.
So Solomon's a huge fan of this. So I know you have questions. Did
Well, no, I didn't have questions. I just wanted to just acknowledge it with him because, being from Wilmington, Mayor of Wilmington, that's probably the biggest thing that's happened in Wilmington since they built that town square area. And I, before it was open, I remember January 1st, I jumped the fence and I went and did a whole video.
You sent it to me.
Yeah.
Remember, he's all, look
Yeah.
at this. And I was
Yeah.
like, yay, that's Wilmington.
you guys hear
Yeah.
that? We got him.
I know, right? I'm admitting on tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just nice because now if you go, it's still clean. The grass is still grassy. It's
Yeah.
like, everything works. I mean, it's they really take care of it. And more families are starting to go down there too.
It's beautiful and
Yeah.
it has some nice swings that you could be on there and
Mhm.
and just enjoy.
Yeah,
the
look out
view.
at the water and ships and stuff. It's-
Not
Well,
only
the
that, but
water's
it's-
not that pretty, though, because it's right where the ships are.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the water's
The view
one
is,
color though.
The
It's
view
still a
is,
good
yeah.
view.
Yeah.
I love, even though people are like, oh my God, you grew up in Pedro. Aren't you tired of looking at the cranes and the ships? And I'm like, no. If I lived somewhere else and I didn't see that, I
It's
don't
like
know.
a
If I,
certain aesthetic, yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I would like that. I'm used to it. I like it. Years ago, and I mean like 10 years ago, if you lived close enough, you could hear them taking the lids off the vessel and putting them on. You hear that, and everybody's like, what is that? Oh, they're taking lids down. Now, Wilmington and Pedro's become, I feel like, overcrowded. You can't really hear.
I think the only thing in the middle of the night is I'll hear like the boxes dropping on each other.
Oh, the cans?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, how far close to it do you live?
I'm pretty close. Yeah, I'm by the Waterfront Park.
Oh, so
Yeah.
then, yeah, you could hear a lot then. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know the one thing you wouldn't like is from there you can see the automated
No,
can
No.
movers.
no.
Those things are cool, though. Just
Are
look
they?
at it. Yes.
Are
they're cool.
they? We just had a automated crane drop a lid on half onto the crane itself and half on the ground.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, darn. I was like, we're going to have a man come in and fix that. Yeah, we definitely don't like automation. Definitely. That's our enemy.
Mm.
And you would think eventually it might become yours too with all the AI stuff going on.
Well, you're not going to stop AI, though. That's the problem.
Oh, we could try. We could do an uproot and not use it. I refuse. Like, I know there's a lot of guys at work that use AI for certain things. So, like, if they have to send out an email or something, I shouldn't be saying this, right? They're going to kill me. I forgot what it's called. Chat
GPT.
Yeah. How do you know what that is?
Everybody knows. That's like the most popular one.
Yeah.
I saw a meme and it said your child that's studying in medical school right now is using that. So
that's tough. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, then what happens when they have to really go do surgery? They're
Well,
not
think
gonna-
about it. You can ask them any question, and they use the power of the entire internet to answer you like just talking to you.
That's crazy.
And then you can ask it to do anything.
Terminator.
Yeah,
It's kind of.
pretty much.
It is. It's scary.
All they need is bodies now.
Oh, no. Okay.
I think they're already making them too.
Yeah.
Jesus could hear all this. Lord help us. So, that's all I'm going to say. So, okay. So you're honorary mayor. And how long does that last for?
2 years.
And how much time are you into it?
I think we're maybe like 8 months out.
Oh, okay. And then would you do it again?
I think
Good
I would
cause.
give somebody the opportunity to do it.
Okay.
I personally would not want to do it again, not because I don't appreciate it, but because I think we have a lot of amazing leaders in our community that need the opportunity to step up.
Well, that's awesome. I do think that Wilmington's getting a lot better and better as time goes on. You went to Banning High School
I did.
and then you went into the military, but the hardworking parents that have pushed their kids, that kind of, like you said, it was kind of rough growing up there, but
Absolutely, yeah.
you survived it and you're doing better back for your community. You see more and more of that, not in just Wilmington and Pedro too, but in Wilmington, you see that happening. I see it when I drive through it for going to different people's houses or stuff like that. I love Wilmington is very much like Pedro. It's all about family, culture, and it is getting better and better.
I think the whole harbor area is really good. It's pretty united. I know that there's a lot of bickering between Wilmington and San Pedro, but I think it's healthy competition.
Yeah.
I'm super involved in San Pedro too, and their Chamber of Commerce. They hire me all the time with my business and everything. So
And tell me a little bit about that business.
So I started OMG Pix in 2018. It's a little bit of a tough story. Since I won the banning, I actually had a mentor. Her name was Miss Marsubian, and I was a knucklehead, so I didn't like to go to school. I would try and ditch in the hallways.
So you weren't all clean and spiffy like
absolutely
you're
not,
trying to
no.
portray right now.
Probably just a little bit nervous, but I'm like, who's gonna be watching this?
You're a little travieso.
Yeah. They were
Wait, what does Tony call them? He calls them
Oh, yeah.
what does he call them? You were a silver tooth kid, or what is it? What does he call it?
Oh, yeah. The silver tooth.
Their silver tooth. I forgot what it is.
Activities.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Okay, so I'm sorry.
I thankfully wasn't that bad. I wasn't a malandrine. I was more of like
Okay.
a knucklehead.
Okay.
So I just I've never fit into like institutionalized type of organizations. I don't like squares. I like to step out of the box. And being in a school, it just I learned differently. I learned by doing. I learned by action. I learned by just getting involved.
So I always say that kids, mainly more boys than most girls, should not be in school 8 hours a day, sitting behind a desk, being told you're bad because you can't sit still.
Tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I could now at 51, I can look back and realize why my friends weren't bad. They just shouldn't have been sitting in school all day long.
Yeah.
I have a friend who, and I won't say his name because I didn't ask. I was in auto mechanic class with him. He was rambunctious, right? Probably barely graduated high school, but he'd have that Mac tool guy always coming by his house, buying set tools, doing all this stuff, fixing things, doing things. Well, he ended up becoming a crane mechanic and a crane driver down on the waterfront. And I look at him like he rebuilt his entire house by himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad in high school. He just couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now that I'm older, like I agree with you. Like some people just don't fit in that box. They need to get out and explore.
Yeah. So I definitely did not fit in that box. So when I tried ditching, I used to be in the Match Academy in Banning High School. And while I was walking through the halls.
Wait, what academy is that?
Match?
Oh, Match Academy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the cooking, culinary arts, hospitality.
Okay.
So Ms. Marsubian saw me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I looked at her and I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "Come here." Like, oh, I'm in trouble, right?
Yeah.
But no, she pulled me into the room and she said, "Shouldn't you be in class?" And I was like, maybe. I was like, smart
He's
ass.
like, oops.
Yeah. And she goes, "Well, are you going to class?" And I'm like, maybe. Right? She said, "You're probably not. Go over there, wash your hands all the way to your elbows, and come back to me when you're done." And I'm like, "What the heck? This lady's crazy, right?"
Yeah.
So I went over there and washed my hands and everything. And she was the lead teacher for the Match Academy at that time. And she taught me how to cook. She taught me how to
awesome.
wash dishes. She showed me a lot how to make pasta.
Oh, how awesome.
That from scratch.
Really?
Yeah.
So you learned a lot.
I learned a lot in there. I wasn't in class, but
Yeah.
I think she knew that I wasn't going to go to class anyways. So she pulled me aside and then she just put me to work. And I think for me, that way of learning was a lot better for me.
So did you keep going back in her class instead of ditching?
I did, yeah. I did keep going back to her class. And during lunchtime too, she would have me selling tortas and all types of, yeah. That's my early entrepreneurship.
Really?
Yeah. I joined the military. When I came back, I actually came back and I was so proud. I came in uniform and I came, gave her a big hug, and it was a beautiful moment.
What's her name?
Ms. Marsubian.
Miss Marsubia, shout out to you.
I went a second time to the military again because I had to go. And I came back again to because I was proud, right? Another accomplishment. And I was looking for her and
don't tell me.
Yeah, I found out she had passed away.
Oh, how sad. Why are you gonna make me cry?
Yeah, I know.
And I'm such a chiona. Don't make me cry.
I actually the Match Academy is part of a program for underserved students in communities called EXP. It used to be called ITEP. It's involved in a lot of the schools, and because of her, I actually got involved with ITEP.
Oh, really?
My first client for OMG Pix was ITEP, EXP.
Oh.
And it started because I wanted to donate my services to them. Yeah. I wanted to donate something.
Yeah.
I came from nothing, so I didn't have any money. I didn't know how to give back, and I just wanted to do something, and I didn't know how to do that. So, I had some money saved up, and I ended up buying a photo booth. So I bought a photo booth. I put it all together. I learned how to work it. I learned the software. I learned literally everything about it. And once I got good at it, I offered my services in kind to ITEP.
Oh, wow.
And they accepted it. And I did it, I think, for 2 years. And then I met another great leader through different networking events that they do for the community with EXP. Name's Amy. Awesome, amazing leader in the nonprofit industry. And she gave me an opportunity. She said, "Hey, we're not gonna hire you no more." I said, "Hi." And she goes, "You're gonna go back. You're an entrepreneur. You know what you're doing. Establish the business. Come back, and show us that you can do that."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay." So I
challenged you a little bit.
I gotta figure it out,
Yeah.
So I went back and I learned how to do LLC. I learned how to get my tax ID number, a DUNS number. I learned how to establish a business. Struggled. I learned that I have to pay in California to have an LLC. So,
how old were you when you started that part of it?
It was 2018, so I'm 30 now.
Okay, so a few years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were pretty young.
Yeah. So
you took a big chance on yourself.
I did. And I just started working on it since then. I am a working man, so I still work. I fund my business through my work. And, we don't make a huge amount of money, but we make enough to pay the bills.
Oh, well, that's good. So if somebody wanted to hire you,
Mhm.
what comes besides like a photo booth?
We've actually developed a lot. Since 2018, we've become more of a event management company.
Oh,
Yeah, so now we're hosting events from start to finish. We do photo booths, event rentals, tables, chairs, photography. We're getting into podcast documentaries, videography.
mhm,
So we're getting into a little bit more than that. I always say I try to use my OMG Pix is just a name, right?
mhm.
I try to use my business as a vehicle for change, as a vehicle for community development. I think that's what it's becoming into, and
So you're very involved in your community. You're very, what's the word? Dedicated to Wilmington. That's how you grew up there. How old were you when you first? Because you came here when you were 7, and you obviously just spoke Spanish.
yeah.
How long did it take you to learn how to speak English?
I learned really fast.
So and the reason
Shout
I
out to
ask is
BBS kids. I'm like
I'm
Arthur.
a no sabe kid. So the reason I ask is because going from Spanish to English and growing up in Wilmington and coming back and putting all your hard work and energy back into Wilmington is what makes Wilmington thrive. Is people like you, and you don't look like at any point you're going to stop doing that. You want to keep giving back to your community.
Absolutely. I've always been involved actually. I don't like to be in the limelight. It's actually really tough for me. Um,
Really?
I don't tell a lot of people, but I'm an introvert. If it were up to me, I would be in the gym all day long in a little circle, just working on things like that. But because of the way that I grew up, my family and the things that weren't given to me,
Mhm.
I feel like I want to give those things to others.
How are you an introvert coming from? And the reason I ask is because my son is also. Um, And my heart breaks for him a lot of times because we're loud. I'm obviously loud. You saw 5 minutes of it before we started, right?
Yeah.
Imagine living with that. So we have a huge family. We're all fun and chaos in between, right? He needs moments to breathe. Like how are you an introvert in a Mexican family?
We're a very small family. So
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you a little bit about my upbringing. Um, I came to Mexico at the age of 7. My mom came way before me. She
You
went
came here
from-
at 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was in Chicago first. She went under a lot of stress. Was in the hospital for a while. I thought I was gonna lose my mom. It's a story for her to tell.
Yeah.
But
In which we're gonna have to have her come on and tell.
she only speaks Spanish.
Oh, we'll find a translator.
I'm sure she speaks English, but I low key think that she's just reserving it because she likes to listen to the things that I say.
So my grandparents.
She's a spy.
Yeah, my grandparents on my dad's side. I don't understand. You lived here for years, so they obviously spoke English, right? But when we went back to Mexico, they refused to speak a word of it. I'm assuming because that's all I spoke was Spanish.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I'm like, you knew English.
Yeah, you're not fooling nobody.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, like you guys just wanted us to speak Spanish. So yeah. So I'm sorry. So go on.
So she brought me here at the age of 7, and I used to live in was back then my girl best friend's garage.
Oh.
She was the first girl that I met here in Wilmington, and super nice. Her family was great. We always got along. Went to the same schools, and I lived in her garage. So I actually she didn't go to the same school. I went to Gulf, and growing up like that was really tough. I think my fondest memory, which is kind of messed up. I don't know, but my mom used to pick me up from school, and we used to walk all the way from Gulf Avenue to like M Street, like where mi pueblito San Juan is at.
Mm-hmm.
And on our way home, she would grab me and push me up onto like a trash can, one of the dumpsters, and I would grab cans and I just throw them. I'm like, oh, I got one. And
So when
we
you
do that
say
all the
you
way
came
home.
from nothing, you
Yeah,
came from
we
nothing.
absolutely came from nothing. So
So you had to learn English fast too, then.
yeah, thankfully, I learned pretty quick. But, we would make it home, and then at the end of the week, at the end of the month, we would have some money for like sweets and different stuff. So it's
When you were in Mexico and she was here in Chicago, who were you living with in Mexico?
my grandma.
So is all that part of your family still in Mexico?
My grandma unfortunately passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She was kind of like the stern one.
Mm-hmm.
She was a chancla. Yeah. She's the one that beat sense into me.
Oh.
Yeah, so she was.
Did you get to see her once you came here? Did you ever get to go back and see
She
her?
eventually came with us. Yeah.
Oh,
She
that's
did not want to
awesome.
leave my mom. I always
Oh.
make fun of my mom. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but you became independent at 35, so don't tell me nothing.
People don't realize, but those old school Mexican women, they're stronger than we can. My grandma, she came here, with my grandpa and the 6 kids, and they had to obviously all get their green cards. And I always say that she's the strongest woman I've ever known because I don't know if I could, as much as I love Mexico and I talk about Mexico, I don't know if 51 and I know enough Spanish to get by. But I don't know if I could just move to Mexico today and start a whole new life.
Yeah.
Like I would have to, where am I going to live and who am I going to talk to and what am I going to do? But that generation just did it. Like they came to a whole other country, didn't speak the language, didn't have a job, didn't know what they were going to do, but yet they still did it.
And just a shout out to Powerful Woman. They actually just got a female president. So
She's and we won't get too much into politics like we said, but I hear her sometimes. I use my little translator and I'm like, like I just hope she makes Mexico better. I hope that they are able to finally, because it's such a beautiful country and not all parts of it are, but not all parts of America are beautiful either,
it's developing well.
Yeah. So I love, my favorite part to visit is Puerto Vallarta.
Aguascalientes, where I'm from, they have one of the biggest fairs. It's La Feria de San Marcos.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
My daughter-in-law was telling me about that. Her family's
great
from
fair.
there, and
I've never gone. I really, really want
I
to
think
go.
they like party and party. Well, Mexicans
It's like
party all
blocks
the
upon
time.
blocks upon blocks. Yeah, they have
Yes.
Ferris wheels and all types of things.
Yeah. So my daughter-in-law tells me about it, and she's like, keep saying we're gonna go, and I was like, well, get your passport, let's go.
Well, let me know.
Yeah, I want to go. Like, it's funny though because when you say like Mexicans find a reason to party for anything. Like, I don't care if your kid got their first tooth. Oh, look, first tooth. Let's throw a party. You got
baby shower.
Yes. You're like, isn't that the second baby shower? Oh, we had to do one for their family and one for our family. They just love to party. So your grandma came here. Your mom was here. You're here with your siblings. You learned English very fast. You speak it very well. Like,
thank you, because I don't feel like I do.
You speak it better
My
than I
head
do.
has to translate things before I speak them.
Really?
Yeah, it's odd.
I think that's my problem is I don't translate things. It just flows out of my mouth. And half the time, especially when I'm at work, the guys are like, oh, dear God, did she just say that? So your mom doesn't speak English to you. You speak Spanish to her.
No, she speaks Spanish.
Does she work anymore? Is she retired or?
She works with OMG Pix. So
she helps you.
I had the blessing to become a recruiter in the Marine Corps in 2017. And recruiters get paid a pretty good amount. And my grandma was very sick. So I made a promise to her and I said, I'm going to take care of my mom and I'm going to take care of my sister. And
so that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I didn't know what the heck I was getting myself into, but
But at some point you make that commitment. You just, it's in your blood to just keep going with it and do it.
And we work together, and she loves working. She's she loves to stay busy. She's a cosmetologist, so she's been doing cosmetology for 30 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think I get my grit and my perseverance and like my
ganas.
My ganas, yeah. Entrepreneurship from her. She's always trying to start something. She's always selling something. She's always like
She's always on the go.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one thing that I don't even know if it's just the Mexican, if it's Caucasian, if it's Black. I feel like that generation, they didn't know how to sit still because if you sat still, you were lazy. So they had
el que analiza se paraliza.
So translate that in English for the ones that
if you analyze, you paralyze.
Oh, yeah.
See, if I had known that and you didn't, this would just be.
Oh, it would. And I probably would have, but like I would have said, okay, go slow, give me a second to think. But that's something that doesn't ever come up in a conversation. So I know like the basics,
Yeah.
But I feel like that generation, my grandma that I take care of now was the same way. they just don't know how to sit still. And I don't know if it comes from not having anything, so they wanted to make sure they always had. So you had to go out and get it. You had to go out and work for it. You had to go out, like you said, look in trash cans for it. You know, you had to make your money. I feel like that's what lacks in our children today, because we've worked so hard. And I'm definitely way older than you. You could be one of my kids. My daughter's 34, so that's 24. We've given to them. My daughter has seen a little bit more than Seth has, but we've given to them because we didn't have. So they don't have to work as hard as, I don't even think I've worked as hard as the generations above me, which would be like your mom, my grandma, your grandma, you know?
I think it's character building. I always say a lot, like, and it's just an opinion, but I feel like as young men or boys, in order to become men, we do need struggle. We do need character development, whether it's through life. But if we have the opportunity to not have them go through all that, which is a lot better, you know, the military gives you good opportunities for discipline. You go through a lot in there.
Why did you choose the Marines opposed to the Air Force, the Army? Because the Marines is pretty...
Growing up in Wilmington is pretty tough. So like I said, I was a knucklehead. And there were some times where I wasn't treated the best. And I didn't want to feel like, you know, like I always held my chest up high. But I think when we're younger, we're more confident than we really are, right?
What is that saying, Solomon? You're bigger than your britches?
Yeah.
That's like an old man saying, huh?
So I wanted
too big for your britches. Yeah.
Oh, too big for your britches. Yeah. There you go.
I wanted to get to where I felt like. I wanted to make sure that I was confident in myself and defending myself and protecting my family and protecting those around me. If there's a situation in the street, I want to be able to like because knowing myself, I'm the one that's going to jump in. You get me?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to be of help and not be like a crutch for somebody. So I joined the Marine Corps to challenge my own personal barriers, like my own everything.
And do you feel like now looking back, it was the best decision for you?
I think so, yeah.
That's all. Would you consider yourself a mama's boy?
I would say so, yeah.
Because people, when they hear that, they think it's such a negative thing.
Yeah.
When I hear that, I think that just means that they're loving, good.
Yeah.
And not every mama's boy is loving and good.
She made me into a big protector. So she was a tough love. She's the one that provided the soft love was my grandma. The soft and the chancla. You get me? Like she would beat me upside the head and then she'd be like, "Oh, do you want something to eat? Or do you want some pozole?" Or I'm like,
did you ever think she was bipolar when she did that? Because that's what my son told me once. You're bipolar.
I thought she was crazy. I thought she was crazy.
Yeah. He's like, you're hitting me 1 second and then feeding me the next.
There was one time I went out of the house and I think it was my first time that I drank. So I came home and then she goes,
"How old were you?"
I plead the fifth.
Okay. That's fine.
And she comes up to me and she sticks her finger in my nose and she licks it.
Ew.
Did you do drugs?
You're like, well, I hope I
was so young, I didn't understand what that meant or why she put her finger in my nose.
You were like, what the hell is wrong?
I was like,
Grandma?
what was that? And I was like, no. And then I just started cracking up and my friend was cracking up. And then I was like, I'm going to go inside. So I go inside and then she comes after me. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then she grabs the belt. I was like, man. So I started running. And then my mom locks the gate. So she locked the gate. So I'm running around our front yard and my grandma's chasing me. And she's a heavy-set lady. So she's chasing me around the front yard and she trips on the hose and she falls. And, my heart. I was like, oh my God. I was like, abuelita,
Yeah.
you know, and I go up to her.
Was she mad at you for making her fall?
It was funny because I went up to her and she's like this. But her tongue is facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, párese, like, get up.
Yeah.
She grabs a shovel and she throws it at me.
Now she's mad. It's your fault she fell.
hit me in the shin and I'm like, oh. So I run inside and I'm just like, my friend's inside. He's just terrified. He doesn't know what's going on. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna take it. And she comes inside and she just beeps me upside the head. And yeah, I definitely learned my.
But you took it.
I
You
took
didn't
it.
fight back. You didn't call her name.
Well, there was
You
nowhere to
didn't-
run to. So I'm
No.
like,
But kids today, they'll. I'm calling the cops. Oh my God, you hit me!
no.
Like it's.
Respect was a big thing in our family. Respect has always been the big
And
thing.
I feel like 100%. Like I tell people, my kids are spoiled in a way, but it comes at a cost, and that cost is respect. Like
Mhm.
you have to know. And so I know a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, you're too hard on your kids," but I'm like, "Oh, absolutely not," because that's how we were raised. I told my grandma from Mexico, my grandma Carmen.
That's my sister's name.
Oh, that's my middle name. I love it. I don't think she disciplined me when I was little when I needed it. I remember like little things. But I never knew my grandpa couldn't walk and he was in a wheelchair. And I think I was about 12 when I realized he couldn't walk. And he was scolding me about something that I rightfully should have been scolded about. And I was like, what are you going to do? You can't come after me. Like, little did I know when I turned around, there stands my grandma. And that's the worst thing I could have told my grandpa. Well, she smacked me. And it didn't hurt, but I was so devastated that she hit me because I made you that upset, right?
Yeah.
And I cried and cried and cried. And of course, she's apologizing afterwards because I was so devastated. But in that moment, I realized like, you don't want to disrespect the people that just love you and give to you. And so what do? You just sit there and you take it,
Yeah.
right? And to this day, I see kids and I'm just like, oh my God, that's the word respect that just, it's not there anymore. But I loved it. I would take the way that they raised my older brother and I any day compared to the way kids are today. And everyone's like, oh, you were in Mexico every summer. You didn't do this. I was like, no, but we were just
Living,
kids.
yeah.
We didn't have that. So we didn't miss it, Did you ever go back to Mexico when you?
I did. I've gone a couple times. Not recently, but I've.
No, when you were younger, after you first got here,
After I got my citizenship.
that you went back. And do you have any family there?
I have tios, tias, yeah.
So, was your grandma married?
No, she wasn't.
And either,
She actually, yeah, she was married, but they were separated.
okay, so just these strong women.
My grandpa was a military man, so he was very tough, and he was I think he was like a major in Mexico, so it's a whole lot different than it is here. So he was very reserved and very quiet and very
Well,
stern.
the prisons are really different than the
Oh, yeah.
prisons here.
Yeah, the military
and-
is crazy.
And Mexico prisons, if you don't have family, you basically don't have clothes, you don't have blankets, you don't have food. Like
It's really good, thank you.
Oh, well, you know what? You can shout out this place because you're the one that suggested it.
So she told me
I'm gonna get you coffee or a drink. What do you want?
yeah, and I was like, oh, I think we were talking about Starbucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, if you want to support local, we have Ambrosia, and the Hall and Barrio Coffee in Wilmington. We have a lot. Yeah, the
Do
Hall's
you?
really good.
Yeah, I go to the hall. Yeah.
Well, I've never heard of these places, and so I was like, "Oh, he's gonna have me go to Wilmington." Like, oh. So then I was like, I looked to see where they're at, and the one on Freeze
yeah.
or Fries or however you guys say it. I was like, oh, I know it because that's right by my
Ambrosia?
union
Yeah.
by my union hall. So I was like, and then I passed it and came back, and there's like this truck stop place or something. I'm like, where is he sending me? And then I'm like, oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
And then when you go in this place,
Beautiful.
well, I have a question.
Mhm.
What are all the sticky notes?
That's so people come in and they write a little note of whatever they want to write, and then they stick it to the wall.
Well,
Some people draw pictures, some people shout out
Yeah.
their business, and
I wanted to write something, but I didn't have anything, and then I was in a rush. And so now I'm like, I got to come back, and I got to leave my mark in
Yeah.
Wilmington. Someone's going to find it and be like, get that Pedro girl out of here. But it was really beautiful in there. I
and the
loved
owner's
it.
great. He's so involved in the community. He helps out, donates, and
Really?
yeah, we've hosted a couple events there. We actually brought the chief of police,
Oh,
Chief
awesome.
McDonald, came down to Ambrosia and spoke to our community there.
Well, I got some kind of latte something, and this thing is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and you got a Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah, the Vietnamese coconut latte is my favorite with light sweetness, but a lot of caffeine.
Well, that Vietnamese coffee is very addicting one, and two, very like you will be up for days.
Yeah.
I had it once and I will never do it again. I don't think I slept that whole night. I was like, no, I'm good. That was way too
That's the
much
goal.
caffeine.
We got work to do.
Yeah, I was like, no. So, but now I'm like, oh, I gotta. And I keep saying I want to go try different coffee places,
Mhm.
There's coffee places in San Pedro, and I haven't even tried those, and I need to. There's one, Sirens, that I
Oh,
like.
I
I
love
go there.
Sirens.
Yeah, I've gone there, and there's a few others that I need to try.
The
So,
owner is amazing. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know who the owner is, but when I go in there, it's just such a.
Her name is the same name as my mom. It's Yolanda.
How do you know? And I'm the one from Pedro, and I don't know. And I go there because I get my hair colored. The girls right down the street. So sometimes I walk in with dye in my hair. I'll get like a bagel or a muffin and coffee, and no one says nothing. And then I walk across the street like with dye in my hair, and the black coats you wear. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I think
okay.
in our culture we call that Doña Florinda.
Oh yeah, that would be
Yeah.
me. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not here to please anybody but myself. I'm getting my hair colored. I don't care. Like, yeah. Okay, so I want to make sure we poor thing, we just interviewed the hell out of you.
Yeah, I don't even know where this went.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years as far as the community? Like, what would you like to do? What would you like to be?
um, Honestly, I enjoy doing the things that I do. I've always been really involved. The animal shelter, the library.
Ooh, library.
I've always done a lot of community work. It's just now that I was put in a position to where I have to
Yeah.
be out there.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I could be quiet about it, or I could set a standard, because in Wilmington we've never had a standard that goes beyond a little bit more. You get me? There's a lot of quiet people and there's a lot of quiet leaders, but I want to, if I could inspire more people to stand up and use their voice, I want to do that.
Do you think that's because again, I'm going to go to your grandma's era?
Mhm.
Mexicans are very humbled people. They're very quiet people. They don't really, it's always been like, and with everything going on right now, I don't want to get into it too much. But they've always been like, we're blessed to be here.
Yeah.
We're blessed to work here. We're blessed to earn the money we have here. My grandparents came here, and then when they retired and they collected their Social Security, they went back to Mexico, and they always felt like that was such a great thing. So I think Mexicans are very quiet because even when it's negative things that happen to them, well, you know what? It's just part of what we have to go through. But now I feel like the younger generation, like you, is starting to vocalize and stand up and make a name for who we are.
And I think also just in general, a lot of people always tell you, calm down, slow down, you're doing too much.
Ooh, that
I
word.
I cannot,
Ooh.
like if there's ever, yeah, if
I had an ex-boyfriend that told me you're too much. I said, well, then go find less. And then when we got married, I was like, ooh, I saw you found a whole lot less. And he was like, shut up. And I was like, I'm just saying.
yeah, and it's the same thing. It's like, well, if
Yes.
I'm doing too much, then do more. Like
Mhm.
we have to do more. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason. I don't know. I feel like in Wilmington we're underrepresented. Actually, we're well represented, but we're just not a lot of people speak up.
What do you do for the animal shelter?
I volunteer at
Oh,
the
really?
harbor. Yeah.
Really?
I have a husky, so I'm big on animals.
I've had two, and I love them. The thing is, they are so hairy. Like, I could choke on their hair.
You could probably find some of his hairs. That's why I wore a gray shirt.
I have two little rats that we talked about earlier, and kind of rescued both of them actually, because I'm all about rescuing them and I love them. But these two, I feel like they're like part Chihuahua, and they're gonna live till they're like 21, and they're only like 3 and 2 right now.
Yeah.
And every day I threaten to send them back to the pound. Like every day. I'm sure the neighbors hear me. Like they're worse than kids, but I couldn't live without them. So I love dogs. That's why I was asking. Like, we had a husky, Captain Jack Sparrow. That's what we called him. Loved him, but he ended up going blind and getting sick. And
Yeah.
I'm not blind. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
Captain Jack
He
Sparrow.
went deaf, and I didn't know he couldn't hear. And then the neighbor one day was like, "Is your dog deaf?" And I was like, "No, he listens and hears me all the time." He goes, "Well, when I sing to him through the window, he doesn't hear." And so I tried. I was like, "Oh." So I don't know if the dog learned to read my lips, like "get your ass in the house" or "come here"
They
or
work
what.
with mannerisms and hand gestures.
Yes.
And yeah.
But he was deaf. He couldn't hear a darn word I
That's
was
funny.
saying. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, you poor thing." Um,
I have a husky, so he's
how
loud.
old?
He's I think 5 now. It's his birthday on the 18th.
Does he ever try to jump out of your fence?
He is
An escape artist?
escape artist, absolutely.
Mhm.
If he steps out the door, he's gone.
Mhm.
Especially because we run so much.
Mm.
So I have to run at least a mile to 3 miles in the morning with him every single day, or else he's just
And people
howling.
don't realize that when they have huskies.
Yeah,
One, they don't like being alone, and they have so much energy. It's
a
ridiculous.
lot of energy. Yeah.
So, has he ever gotten out?
Yes.
And do the neighbors all know? Like, oh,
No.
That's-
I'm very private. I'm a
oh,
very private person. But he got out one time, and I swear I ran like 4 blocks. And he thought it was a game. He's just like, he's like, oh yeah, we usually run like this. So,
Yeah.
And then he would look back, wait,
And
for
he
me,
would
and keep
see-
running. Yeah.
Well, they have their own personalities. Dogs
Yeah.
very much have their own
He's a
personalities.
douchebag, yeah. If you look at my social media, there's a highlight of him, and you could see his personality in the highlights.
So that's what I call my dog, Nala, for the most part. Nestor, I'll take all day long, but Nala,
His name's Loki.
Loki,
Yep.
as in like,
Yeah. God of Chaos.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, maybe we should have Loki on here.
Yeah,
Coffee
yeah,
and chaos.
He'll be your mascot.
He fit right in, yeah. And what do you do for the library?
For the library, I like to read a lot.
Me too.
I haven't volunteered in the library in a very long time. That was when I was younger.
So you volunteer and you go there and you do. So you give like so much of your time back.
I can't stand still. It feels
So,
weird.
Do you have a personal life, like a social life? Does your
Um,
mom want you to get married one day?
You know what? As we're a very small family, it's just me, my sister, and my mom. We're as close enough to be very close, but we're separate and we live like our own lives to the point to where we don't become each other's problems.
Okay.
So we're very independent with each other, and I think we do a really good job at just being a family and a little powerhouse. So I think she doesn't get too involved in the things that I do, and she always tells me, she's like, I don't have too many opinions on the things you do. Just if you feel like it's the right thing, you go ahead and do it. And
So
I'll
she
support
doesn't
you.
guilt trip you about grandkids?
Oh, absolutely no.
Oh,
She does mention it. She's mentioned it a couple times.
yeah.
But
I'm
I'm-
guilty.
I'm just like, I have my sister and
He's
my
like,
dog, and I think we have enough.
you're like, we're
Um,
good right now. Yeah. Well, Solomon, you have any questions before we head on out?
Yeah, I did. First question: where were you stationed when you're in the Marines?
Couple spots actually. I started as a UAV operator, so I used to
Okay.
fly drones at first. I did that for about 4 years. Transition on that was here in California, Camp Pendleton,
Mm-hmm.
and then I transitioned on to doing recruitment here in the Lama Mall.
Oh,
So I did recruitment
Oh,
here in the
okay.
community.
And
And-
and on those drones, were they? I mean, were they flying internationally, other countries, or just here?
I was a trainer, so I was one of the first ones to start doing that drone program for the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of training. So my job was to train all the new drone operators. So I was
Okay.
kind of stuck in that
yeah.
square. That's why I joined. When I received the opportunity to become a recruiter, I bounced because I can't stand still. I need to keep moving.
Mm.
And through recruitment, I that's where I found my love for like leadership development. I'll tell the story a little bit. I have a buddy. His name's Sergeant Trejo now. He came into my office and he was a little bit chunky. He comes in and he's like, I'm gonna join the Marines, and he just didn't seem too committed, right? So he came in, came out, and then would disappear. And then one day I just got tired. I was always very stern with the people that came into the office because I knew what they were getting themselves into. So I told them, I was like, you know what? If you're not in it to join and to commit, don't come back.
Oh,
Just get out.
yeah.
Like if you have goals, accomplish your goals. If you don't need the military, don't do it. It's not for everybody. Because he said he wanted to be a cop, and I wanted to be a cop, so I knew what it takes to be a cop. I never went that way, but I was like, go talk to a recruiter in the police department, start planning that path, and then take yourself there. So I kicked him out of the office, and I was like, don't come back unless you want to be a Marine. And he left for a cool while. He came back, and then he goes, Sergeant, I can't be a cop till I'm 21. The recruiter told me that I'm a little bit too heavy and that I should work on myself before I try applying. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? So he's like, well, I want to be a Marine. And I was like, bullshit, dude. I was like, just leave. Like, like you don't want to be a Marine. You really don't want to do it. You're not committed. So he looks at me. He's like, I want to be a Marine. I was like, you don't, bro. Like, you really don't. And then he like got mad. He's like, I want to be a Marine. I was like, okay, so that's the fire. And I already saw the fire in his eyes. I saw the potential, and I knew that he was going to accomplish a lot. So I wanted him to accomplish whatever the heck was in his mind. And this is how I see everybody. Like, whatever the heck's in your mind, it doesn't matter what you do, just accomplish it. So he ended up pushing forward, and I put him on the path, right? So I told him, every morning you need to come here and you need to run 3 miles. And if you still have the energy at night, you have to run another 3 miles. And mind you, it was an PV, so it's uphill and downhill. So he goes and he comes in the morning. He ran with me 3 miles at night, because I was always very dedicated to my work. I was there very, very late. So he would come in at night, and then he would run 3 miles on his own.
Oh, wow.
Like 3-4 months, he lost about 30 pounds.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. He got qualified. We sent him to boot camp, and he fell in love with the Marine Corps.
Oh, that's
He
so
recently
awesome.
called me. He goes, I'm a staff sergeant now. So he goes, Staff Sergeant, if it wasn't for you, I would have not accomplished everything that I have accomplished right now. And I was so proud, because he actually followed in my footsteps.
Yeah.
And he's a high-performing recruiter. I think Riverside.
Oh,
So he's recruiting people, and he has the same philosophy of, and I live by this philosophy: leaders create leaders.
Yeah.
So the more
That's
leaders
good.
we create in the community, the more power that we give to our youth. The more we see people's potential and act upon that, I think it'll.
So
make the
you
world
have
better
a
way.
weight limit to get into the Marines?
Yep, a weight and a height limit.
You have a height limit
Yeah, you can't
Oh.
be too short
or too heavy?
or too heavy.
Can you be
Oh.
too tall?
I'm not sure, actually. I've seen
That's
some
probably
pretty
never
tall
been an
guys.
issue.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been an issue.
What's the height restriction?
I think it's 4'11".
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
I
I'm
thought
not
you
sure
were going to
anymore.
say
I'm
like
not a recruiter
5'4". I
anymore,
was going to be like, well, I can't go then.
All right. So my other question: do you have any official duties as the honorary mayor? I mean, do you have to show up to places? Do you have to do anything on behalf of the organization that put on the contest? Anything?
You know what's funny? So pretty much what I already did is already done. I raised money for the community, and we raised around $30,000, almost $30,000 for Wilmington, which I was told is the most that anybody's raised in 70 years,
Oh, awesome.
which is amazing. And I hope people in the future surpass that, because we need it. We need it in Wilmington. But in terms of doing anything, we're not required to. It's not an official title. It's an honorary title.
Right.
So it's a volunteer position. I don't necessarily have to show up anywhere. If people invite me and they want to see me there in order to be an ambassador for the community, I can do that. I myself personally love to do things for the community. I love to put myself out there in order to empower organizations. I love shouting out small businesses. That's why when you
Yeah.
told me about Starbucks, I was like, why don't we
You're like,
support,
why don't we go somewhere else?
any chance I get, I'll support a friend, I'll support a business, I'll support your podcast.
Thank you by the way, for coming today.
Absolutely. And I was nervous as heck, because I think this is my first official podcast. So
Yeah, you did great.
yeah.
If you could deal with me, you're fine.
Got the worst out of the way.
And the last question I had, and I think it just sort of got glazed over. I take it your father wasn't in your life.
My dad is in my life.
Okay.
He and my mom are separated. My dad's he's very independent. He's been a very influential part of my life.
Okay.
But he does have so my sister is part of my sister Carmen, part of my mom's side.
Okay.
My brother Brandon and my sister Pamela are part of my dad's side of the family.
Was your dad always in your life, or did he come around back later in life?
I think like any family, there was situations, and that's
Got it.
probably like a way longer story.
Yeah.
And I think I rekindled with him when I turned 11.
Oh, okay. So you were young enough for him to have an
Yeah.
impact then. That's good.
So now we have a really good relationship. We see each other. We call each other all the time.
Where does he live?
He lives in North Hills.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually he's working security right now, but he's a very hard worker. He's always on the go, and I think that's where I get my hard work from.
That was my next question. What do
Yeah.
you feel like you get from your dad?
I think my hard work, my how do I put it? I think my strength. Yeah, he's very stern. He's very calm, cool, and collected. So I think that's where I get the calm, cool, and collected part because he's very you can tell he's done some things and he's worked some jobs and you can tell that he's can be a very stern man,
Yeah.
but he chooses humility and he chooses to be just calm. And
Where's your grandma? The chocolate was a little different.
yeah, my grandma was definitely different. Yeah.
Would you call her calm ever?
Shortly after she hit me upside the head, then it was like, "Come here, mijo. It's
Yeah, yeah,
okay." You know, I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, women are very passionate. Yeah. So your dad and you are very close now then?
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
we're-
Nice.
You see each other for Father's Day or?
No,
chance?
we were actually both working, so
Ah,
I did call him though.
good.
Nice.
Are you crying over there?
No, I'm not. No, not at
I
all.
see you wiping your eyes.
Thank you so much for coming on. Solomon, you got all your questions out?
Yeah.
It was a real privilege. Trina wanted to be here. She couldn't be here. She had some prior things going on and she was trying to make it, but she couldn't. So she gives her welcomes to you and says to tell you hi.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we both have your social media, mine on their YouTube. Follow. Crap, what was I going to say? Like, share, all that fun stuff. This is done in Long Beach at Podcast Place. Solomon, thank you so much for all your hard work and all your. I feel like you're therapist 101 before we even get started. Thank you so much,
No
and thank
problem.
you, Eric. Have a good one. Bye.